Hello my friends, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're all having a great day. Today I'm going to do this tutorial, but it is going to feature the new collection from Merle Norman. So I thought I would just briefly go over the compacts that they sent me and the lipsticks, and then we'll get on with the tutorial. The first one is the Eye Color Quad in Status Glow. Let me show it. This is the one I actually have on and I used. It has 4 great colors. One is, three of them are satin finish, and one is a matte, and they all look like that. Let me do them on my hand for you. And that is what they look like. Again, I have this quad on my eyes. And the collection is called Blue Bell, and it has blue, and I think that's kind of like a slate gray. I'll swatch them for you. Again, one matte and two mattes in this one and 2 shimmers. And that is what they look like on the fingertips. Let me give them a swatch for you. Okay, and they also sent a blush along with this collection, and I will give you a quick swipe of that. This one here, I actually have this blush on right now, and this is more of a amber peachy tone, and this is definitely a plum. I will show you those swatched on my fingers. That is what they look like swatched. I did have to build it up on my cheek, which I like about a blush. I like that I can build it up to what I want, but they are not really like in your face colors, okay? And then there are 3 lipsticks. What I'm wearing is called Malted. Let me give you a swatch. Now, I like Merle Norman lipsticks. They're very, very, very creamy. I love that, but yet they stay in place, and that is Malted. And the next 2 are in the pink family. All right, the next one I'm going to show you is called Pink About It. It's a very, very vibrant pink. I think this one will look good on more ethnic skin colors, if you have dark hair, if you have a tan. I'm going to try it and see how it looks on me. It's got a lot of blue in it, and you know that blue works against me, but you know, we'll give it a go and we'll see how it is. And the last lipstick is Free Spirit. And this is a more muted pink, which many of you are probably going to really, really like. And that is that one. All right, so that is the collection that was sent for spring. Thank you very much, Merle Norman, for including me and allowing me to share this with my subscribers. So now let's get on with the tutorial. All right, stick around. Okay, so I already put my primer on, and as usual, I'm using the Algenist, and this is the Pore Corrector Anti-Aging Primer. I really like this. It addresses my pores, and I also think it helps to make my foundation last a little bit longer. So I really do like it. Now, the next step I'm going to do is, even though this is a primer, this is Becca's Backlight primer, I'm going to take just a squirt of it, and I want to put this on in my cheek area and just on my face a little bit where I show a lot of dryness. It's not a lot, it's just a small amount to add a little bit of glow, because the foundation I'm using, I think it needs just a little something something, and that foundation is going to be the Almay Age Essential Makeup. I'll put all the colors and everything below for you so that we're not here forever. I'm going to use a damp beauty blender. Going to put about 2 or 3 pumps in my hand, and as usual, just a few dots around the face. And I didn't put my microphone on. Let me do that because it sounds so much different, doesn't it, my friends? I'm sounding so TV anchorish now. Okay, so there we go. We put a couple of drops on. Then I'm going to take my sponge and just put a little bit of it on, and I'm going to go ahead and start pouncing. I like to pounce. You can use your beauty blender any way that works for you. I like this foundation. I just pick up a little bit as I go along. Perfect. Okay, so I have the base of my foundation on. I'm just going to take the smaller end of the sponge and make sure that it's distributed on my eyelids pretty good. Go up underneath my eyes and and just tap away. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. I do have my handy dandy little mirror here so that I can take a look-see. Yes, this foundation has a very nice finish, I think, but I do think it needs a little boost of radiance with it, just for my skin. You may not find that true for you, but for me it is. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of the Urban Decay's Naked Skin Corrector, and this is in the peach because I'm a little bit dark right through here. I'm just putting a small amount on each side and a little bit in these beautiful little grooves of mine, and I might put a little bit above just to help cancel out the blueness that I have in, you know, around my eyes. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and tap that. I'm not really wiping it off. I'm just tapping it in and blending it out. Same thing on the inner eye here, and you can see sometimes you'll need to just take your finger and get in there and just tap it. Don't rub, you're not really moving it around. You're keeping it right in the area that it's needed. You see how wonderful that works? So we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. And as usual, when I'm doing my makeup tutorials, you only see one eye because it just saves time, because you know I'm long-winded. But I thought in this video we would chat a little. Because I do want to thank you all for your continued support and your thoughts and your prayers. Losing Bindi and my mother. I will never forget either one of them. And it's a day-by-day process, and I just keep my mind busy. But it does not mean that my heart is over either one of them, because it's the furthest thing from the truth. But you know, we have to keep moving forward. The next thing I'm going to use is my Bright Future. This is by Sephora, and it's the Bright Future Gel. And I'm going to take this just like I did in my last tutorial. I'm trying to focus on using a little bit less underneath my eyes, because I think with all the recent stress, I think my eyes are showing a little bit of my of the stress. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that, and you can use your finger just to tap. If the sponge, you lose control, just take your finger and you want to just make sure that you're just tapping it in that groove, because it helps with that. It helps to raise that part out and keep the puffiness. Well, the puffiness is already out, but we want to bring the groove, the trough, somewhat out. Okay, so of course, good old Mercier setting powder, can't get away from it, and I use this only under my eyes. I feel for my face. I don't care for the look of it on my whole face, but I love it for setting underneath my eyes. I don't use the excessive amount you see used, because I have a lot more wrinkles than them beauties, those young beauties. And I'm also going to take a little bit of this. I'm going to just make sure there are no folds, and I'm going to go ahead and set my eyelid with a little bit of powder. Same thing on the other side. Now the powder I'm using, I've never really tried this. I bought it because I hear so many talk about it, and many of you have asked me what my thoughts are on it, and it is the Flower brand, and you get this. I've only been able to find this at one of my Walmarts, and I know of 3 in my area. I'm sure there's much more. Walmart is everywhere, but I've only found it at 1. So it is the Flower brand, and this is the number 101. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a go today. Let me open it up and shake some in the lid. Okay, so it does definitely have a little more color than the powders I'm used to using, which may change the look of the foundation slightly, but we're going to give it a go anyway. It's a tutorial. It doesn't have to be, you know, it could be like a sample Sunday tutorial. We're trying something out. We'll see how it works. Okay, this foundation itself, that's why I said I like to add a little bit of the radiance underneath it. On my skin, it does age a little bit. Let's try the powder, and hopefully it won't add to it. So I'm using the Sephora powder brush, and I'm going to go ahead and pounce it all over. No real smell. And let's get all over. Once I get my mirror up, I'll be able to see what it looks like here. Let's look and see. Let's try this out. Oh, it's no different than the other powders. It's actually very nice. It does have a little bit more color, but that's okay. You know, summertime's coming. We need a little color, don't we, ladies? For those of us who don't lay out in the sun. Let's move on to our eyes. I'm going to use today the Merle Norman palette that has the, of course, warmer brown tones, because that's where I gravitate. Now, today's look is going to be just a very casual look, because I'm not really... I'm not going anyplace fancy. I mean, I have errands to run and I have to go to the grocery store and stuff like that. We're only home for a couple more days, and then we head to Florida for Easter, and my family that's over in Boca is coming over to our side to celebrate Easter with us, and that includes my great-nephew Jace, who is much needed at this time. Okay, so I'm going to first go in and take this peach tone here. And I'm going to use my my wide brush that I use most of the time, and it's the 227 by MAC. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up, now I have not used these, so I have no idea the color payoff to them. I can see there's going to be a little bit of fallout. This is another time, now that I know these shadows are going to have a little bit of a fallout, this is when I would put my tape underneath my eyes, but always before my foundation. I would not have done my foundation and put my tape over it. You're defeating a purpose, because you're just going to peel makeup off. So I would do my eyes first and then all of my makeup afterwards, like I've done in previous videos. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to tap this color on. Again, I have no idea what the payoff of this is. The last shadows that Merle Norman sent me were, they had a very soft shimmer and they were more sheer. Okay, so I can pack a little bit more of this on. I'm going to pretty much focus most of, this may be just a two-color tutorial, I'm not sure. I didn't plan anything, flying by the seat of my pants here, folks, by the seat of my pants. All right, so we're just going to tap and build that color up. And then I'm going to go ahead and sweep just to the edge of the eye, the color, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and pick up some more, because I want to put a little bit more color on the lid. And then I think I'm going to use one of these, one of them is a matte and the other three have a satin finish to them. So I want to build up the color into the crease and the lid. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now. And of course I have to do my blending. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so both eyes are done with that peach tone. All right, I want to incorporate a little bit of that color underneath the eye, so I'm going to take a Q-tip, and before I start, I'm going to just wind that Q-tip so it's a little bit tighter and no fuzzies, because I have contacts in. So I'm just twisting it in the way the actual little Q-tip bulb goes, and making it just a little bit tighter, and then I'm going to tap into that color. You don't want to go back and forth, because then you'll loosen up the cotton tip. So I'm just tapping the tip into the same color I just put on the lid, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to run that underneath all the way and extend it up to meet the outer upper eye. There we go. Okay, so I have the one color all the way on the top and then just a little bit of that underneath. I'm going to take that same brush I was working with in my last tutorial, the Bdellium. It's just a nice large fluffy brush, and I just want to take the color that's above the crease line and feather it out lightly all the way up to the brow bone. So it's really not a lot of color moving around up there, but it just gives it a better, a more uniformed look, so that you're not going color to skin. So you're just taking a little bit of it. I mean, you could use a highlighter. I'm not using the highlighter that comes in this one, because it is frosted, and I don't like that underneath my brow. I know the young girls love that, but for me, I just don't care for it. So now I want to add a little bit of depth to this look, because it's kind of flat. So I am going to take this color here. Let me cover the mirror. I'm going to take this one here, which is it is a satin finish, and it's a little bit on the, I want to say that's like a goldish, it's a goldy brown, it's a golden beigey brown. I'm going to take a MAC brush, and this is a 6, I can't read it. Okay, I will put it below. And I'm going to tap into that color. And I'm really going to pick up quite a bit of this. And then I want to tap it off. Not too much fallout on that. We'll see how it does in my eyes. I want to take it and I'm going to put it on the lid and I'm going to tap that satin finish on the, notice I'm avoiding this area right here. I'm just going to tap that color right into there and take it to the outer part of my eye just to add a little bit of life, meaning satin. It's not really giving you a whole lot of color, but it will give you an interesting look for the eye. You don't, I mean, for me, I don't like the look of just one flat eyeshadow. If you're using a liner, that works. But for me, I need to add a little something else to it. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of that, and I'm just going to pack it on. And I'm avoiding the inner eye. I'm just packing it on, and I'm not really stretching it out any further. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye now. All right, I put the foundation of it down with a brush, but I'm going to go ahead and pick some up with my finger. And I'm going to just tap it on. Sometimes with these type of shadows, your finger works magic. And it is, okay? It's actually laying it down much better than a brush. So that's what I'm going to continue, okay? So you can see now it's really laid down. Let me do the other side. Okay, so I am done. Now I'm going to take that Bedellium brush again, really far back, and then just lightly touch over where you added that satin right there and blend it down so you don't have a harsh line. You're not moving this up, okay? You can if that's the way you want, if you want a little shimmer up, but I don't like shimmer up there too high. And just soften that line. Okay, so that is pretty much the eyeshadow look we're going for. So now I'm going to move on to my blush, and I am going to use the Merle Norman. I'm going to focus on using this color here because my whole look is going to be on the peachier side. But I'm going to start, I'm trying to finish this up so you're seeing it again. Whoops. The Givenchy bronzer, I really like this. I'm not going to go for a whole lot of it, but I want to add just a bit right here, okay? You see how it just livens you up slightly? Same thing on this side. And then just a little bit in the forehead. And that is it, okay? So now let's move into the blush. And I'm going to use my faux Nars brush. I love this little thing. I got it at Ulta. It'll be linked below. And I'm going to tap into that blush. And the other one is definitely leans towards the amber peachy tone, and the other one is definitely a blue pink. That's why I'm choosing this one. So I'm going to go ahead and tap it on my cheek. Now this one doesn't have any shimmer like the Chanel blushes do. And I'm just going to tap it until I've built it up to where I want it to be. I like to tap it on first, but you can go ahead and do it like this if that's what you want, if you're used to doing it that way. But I've always kind of tapped and pressed and like swept at the same time. And you can see it's building up nicely. So this is one of those blushes that you can build up, okay? It's a very, very subtle shade. I may need to add a little more color, but for right now, we're just gonna stick with it. So I'm done with that. So now I'm just going to sweep it over my eyebrow area, and just, this for me, I think I've done this ever since I have started putting makeup on at like 15 years old. I've always liked it on my eyebrows. I don't know why, but it's a very nice little trick to get in the habit of, because you marry everything together. Okay, all right, so these are nice. I like this because you can work up to it and build it how you want. I will say that there is a little bit of fallout with these shadows, but you know, what shadow doesn't have a little fallout? And I just wanted to show you this one again. And now we will move on. I'm of course going to tightline. I have to tightline, and I'm of course using my Nars Via Pia. I do have this in other colors. I have it in a plum, and I also have it in the black. But for most of my looks, I prefer this one. It is a deep coppery brown, I'm gonna say. And I just love it, and I think it works so well for tight lining because it does not transfer. I mean, I like to point it out every time I do this in a video. Look at the difference in the eyes, what tight lining does. It automatically makes your lashes appear like they're thicker. Contact is rolling around. And I'm just going to go make sure I have it built up here and here. I did get a little sloppy here. Now you can also add a liner to your upper lid. I don't like wearing liners on my upper lid. I think it makes my eyes look smaller. And for me, I feel it gives me a harsh look and I prefer not to have that. But I really, really love liner on many people. So now I'm just going to brush my eyebrows up, and of course I'll do that off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and do my spray, which I normally do at this point. I'm just going to protect my hair roots. I should have put this on before, but I did not. So if you're adding a shimmer, do it before you do your setting spray. But I'm just going to take a small brush here and pick up some of this beautiful, I just think this is the sweetest stuff. And it is the Benefit Dandelion Twinkle. I just think it's beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just tapping the brush in and picking some up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to tap it on the highest point of my cheekbones. And you can see it's just so sweet. It really is. It just reminds me of sweetness. I don't know why. And then you can go ahead and just sweep it down to blend it. If you wanted to put a little bit of this under your brow bone, you could. I'll sweep it under there just because. Putting just a little bit of shimmer under the brow is nice because it does highlight it and really make it pop. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to do my lips before I go off to do my brows and my mascara. This is a Wet n Wild liner. Lisa actually sent this to me in a little package. And this is, I can't read the print. They make it like this big. Anyway, it's one of their gel lip liners. I'll put the color below. So I'm going to go ahead and do my lips. This liner goes on beautifully. I think I have the Wet n Wild gel eyeliners and I like them. I think they cost a little bit more in the line, but they're very, very nice. This goes on very smooth. My camera cut off on me. So there is the liner. I'm not filling it in like I did the last tutorial. And I'll be using one of the new spring lip sticks from Merle Norman, and these Merle Norman lipsticks are very, very creamy. They have a beautiful texture to them. So this one here is a really nice, I can't read the name on the bottom, so I will definitely put the color that I used below for you. Now this liner lends itself a little bit to the pinky beige. I probably would use the Jungle Brown with this from Dior that I used in my last. Or even my Spice liner, my Chicory, or Laura Mercier's Hazelnut Tea. All good choices for this one here. You can change this so slightly with whatever liner you choose to use with it. So there's my lips. I'm going to go off camera and I will be right back. I'm going to do my brows and my mascara and take my hair out of the rollers with the finished look. All right, my friends, I'm back with the finished look. My hair is out of the rollers. I used Anastasia's Brow Gel in Caramel and also Brow Wiz in Caramel. I have on Chanel's mascara, and I think that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Everything will be listed and linked below for you. Give me a thumbs up if you are enjoying the tutorials. As always, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, subscribe. We're anti-aging here. Go out in the world and be happy, healthy, beautiful, and most of all, my friends, lovable. I love you all. Bisous.